Hello friends, welcome to yet another video where I explain research because research is confusing. And today we're actually looking at the recent study that was published about the popular nutrition program ZOE. This was literally published last week, so it is very fresh. Now ZOE, I've actually talked about them on this channel before when I was discussing blood sugar monitors, because they do offer blood glucose monitors and I thought that was their main thing. But no, they actually do personalized nutrition programs, and I guess that makes sense because monitoring blood sugar would just be one part of that. Their main point of difference is that they look at your microbiome and then give you a plan on what and how to eat that's going to work best for you based on your own microbiome and other factors too, like blood sugar, blood pressure, other blood test results that they might do. And honestly, that sounds good. I'm not here to knock on personalized nutrition at all. I agree with it. Nutrition and health in general is not one size fits all. Everyone's different. Everyone responds to different things. So making it individualized just makes sense to me. The issue is this new study that came out. It seems rigged to me, which is a bold statement, but I will explain. Now, ZOE has big investors, big endorsements. It's been pushed on the Diary of a CEO podcast, and what I'm getting at is it's a business and its aim is to make money, so we need to really look at this research to make sure that it was done properly and fairly. And literally the first thing I did when I opened this study was go straight to the bottom and look at the ethics declarations, which is where they have to list conflicts of interests. And they tried to keep this nice and short, but let's just have a look here. All of these initials are initials of the authors of the paper. So these are the people that conducted this research. And so what we have here is co-founders of the company. They were involved with this research, they did this research. We have current and past employees of the company that were doing this research, and we have people who have received shares in the company, shares of which the value will go up if the company does well. Those people were also involved in this research. Look, this isn't great to have all these conflicts of interest involved in this study, and off the bat, I'm thinking it's probably going to be biased and wanting to prioritize good results for the ZOE program because all of these people stand to benefit from that. So let's actually look at what this study is all about. It's essentially a clinical trial where we have two groups. One group went through the personalized ZOE nutrition program, which looked at individualized factors like blood sugar, blood cholesterol, blood pressure, weight, gut microbiome. Like I said, they took pretty much everyone's individual factors and then gave an individualized program for the participants in that group, and it was an 18-week app-based program. Now the other group, that's the control group, they got standard dietary advice, which was based on the US Department of Agriculture guidelines. That is so odd. I would have thought that dietary guidelines came from the Department of Health. Anyway, so yeah, the other group also followed their standard plan for 28 weeks, and at the end, what the researchers wanted to know was what was everyone's health looking like at the end of this 18-week period. So what was the blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglyceride levels, body weight, weight circumference, all looking like between these two groups. The group that got the ZOE plan, and then the group that just got standard dietary advice. And so their results found that the group that followed the ZOE program had more reductions in triglyceride levels, they had more weight loss, and they had a reduction in issue waist circumference. But they found very little differences in LDL cholesterol levels, and there was no difference in blood pressure or blood sugar levels that they could comment on. So this sounds all well and good, but I do have some issues with it, and it's mainly to do with how they went about treating the two different groups in this study. The control group, this is the one that didn't follow the ZOE program, they were emailed a PDF file that had the USDA dietary guidelines for Americans in it, and they were also emailed a video that essentially just read out the guidelines to them. And apparently this was supposed to be what patients would get in a general consultation about nutrition and diet advice. They were also given some online resources as well and had a weekly email check-in from a nutrition coach. Why does this sound like a course that you can buy from a fitness influencer? They also had email access to a nutrition coach if they wanted to ask any questions. Honestly, it seems like this is just setting this group up to fail. The group that was following the ZOE program had the app giving general nutrition and lifestyle advice for the first 4 weeks of the study. Then they got their individualized information coming in that started giving them information on their blood sugar, fats, gut diversity, and from here they were given specific nutrition advice on what they should eat and what they should avoid based on their own blood test results. So that's pretty cool, and it definitely shows the benefit of having individualized information. But my biggest issue is that the amount of food recording that was done between the two groups wasn't equal for both groups. So both of these groups needed to do a food frequency questionnaire each month to get an idea of general food intake, and that's fine. But the participants in the ZOE group actually had to do some extra food recording, and this would impact the results a bit. The people in the ZOE program had to record their food intake in real time for a minimum of 4 consecutive days per month using the app. Now, when someone is recording what they're eating, it's very likely that will cause them to change their regular eating habits. And people tend to eat less in general when they do this. They also make healthier food choices because it's being recorded and they know someone's monitoring this. So for example, if I'm hungry and I need to record everything that I eat, I might think twice before getting up for a snack. I might not want to go through the effort of recording it, so I might just wait for the next meal. But if I didn't have to record anything, I would just go ahead and eat. And the fact that the group only using the ZOE program had to do this more often would mean that they would eat very differently to the other group just based on having to record what they were eating. It wouldn't have anything to do with the program itself. If they wanted to do this extra recording of food, they should have just made the other group do it as well, and it would have been much more fair. And the results would have made a bit more sense. And I get it, this study is trying to show that giving people guided and individualized advice is a good method for improving people's health outcomes. But the unfortunate thing is the results from this study aren't actually that spectacular. The group that was doing the ZOE program had all the help in the world with their diet and lifestyle advice. They had nutritionists, health coaches, they had food logging, online modules, education, and then the other group just got an email with some health information. Which of these two groups do you think would get the best results? You don't need a study to show that. And all of that for no differences to blood sugar, no differences to blood pressure levels either. Yes, they had more weight loss, but that was probably because of all the food logging and the fact that maybe people ate less because they wanted to avoid having to record the food, or because they knew it was all being monitored, so they changed their behavior. And you can actually see in this table here, or this graph, before the individual information was coming in for the group in the ZOE program, they were already losing more weight than the other group. And at this point, nothing individualized or personalized was coming in. I think it was just them having to monitor their food more and eating a bit differently. Now, I actually think the idea of personalized nutrition and providing all the support is a great idea. I just don't think that this study was needed. It didn't prove much at all. Yes, this nutrition program is better than giving people the bare minimum in nutrition advice. This is an advertisement. It doesn't do anything for science. And it's frustrating because research papers were pretty much the last line of defense for misinformation. Social media is full of incorrect information, but I thought at least we could go to research papers and get the right facts, but now it looks like research is at risk too. So pay very close attention to where you are getting your information from, and if it's from a research paper, pay very close attention to how the study was done and who was doing the study. This isn't really a video I wanted to have to make, but here we are. So if you were someone that had heard about this study being done and the fact that the ZOE program gave good results in terms of weight loss, this was just to show that it wasn't as amazing as some people may be claiming. It's definitely a program that potentially works, as the study shows, but there are also other ways to get those results, and it's an expensive program. So if that's something you want to try, obviously go for it, but I wouldn't use that study as your reason to decide to use it, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you learned something, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bit of a very different video today, but I will see you next week, and until then, keep playing the long game.